Hi guys, Nyara here, also known as Maximum Impulse. We're gonna try something. This is a bit of an experiment for me. I've been playing around with these daily exercises with the 20-minute portraits, where basically I take a reference photo of a person, usually it's been like musicians lately, and I take it and I try to draw it within 20 minutes. Whatever I can manage to get. Usually I can't get like multiple colors or anything like that. And I use my custom made pencil tool, which is what you'll be seeing me use for the most of it. I think for all of it now I'm thinking about it. Let's see, I usually will either have the reference photo up in the program like you see in the video, or I will have it on my side monitor that I have sitting right here for me to see. And I use reference photos because these are practice pieces. This is practice for me. One thing that has been bothering me about my own work has been my speed. So I figured, well, if I do this every single day, 20 minutes of just practice and see how far I can get, good or bad, I figured that would be a really big gain for me, to be honest. It'll help me do things faster. But I'm not going to talk your ear off. I'm actually going to I'm going to watch the video, the full 20 minutes, and kind of give you my thoughts. I always start out with, I try to deal with general shapes first for these because you honestly don't have a lot of time to think. So usually for heads, I'll start with the classic, circle for the head, and I kind of flub around with the placement of things for the most part, like for distances. I've gotten a lot better about distances as I've drawn, but obviously I'm still not the most accurate person, but I think I'm definitely better than I used to be. For some reason, this picture of Uruha was difficult. I'm not even sure why. I don't know if it was just the weirdness of how they adjusted the contrast for the photoshopped image, but it was just kind of difficult for my mind to place things. So, unfortunately, the end result isn't quite what I was hoping it was gonna be, but overall, for practice, it ain't bad. It ain't fantastic, but it ain't bad. Yeah. Oh gosh. You could just see my strokes hesitating, like, what is this even? It's so funny. And I adjust the size of this a few times. Every once in a while, if I think I have time, I will try to adjust things a little bit with the transform tool to kind of correct some of my, usually it's like leaning mistakes. Sometimes I do leaning mistakes. I noticed I did it in this one when I flipped the canvas around, but I only had 20 minutes, so I kind of had to just leave it as is. If I ever decide to finish this, I will definitely make those sorts of corrections, but for the sake of the challenge, I could not at the end of the day. But I tried to correct things as I went. I do love this photo, though. I wish I could have done it better. Much regret. Very much regret. made his face really big. I think it's also just the way his head is tilted too that threw me off. Because I think I was trying to tilt his face, but at the same time my inclination to straighten it out was a thing, I think. So that was weird. That was really weird. See here, that doesn't look bad. But it's kind of what's bothering me at this stage, and I remember seeing this as I was drawing it, is just the line of his face that's in the light, like the edge, just feels so weird to me. Even by the end, that's kind of like the area that I wish I could have done more with. Though I'm wondering if it has more to do with his mouth than the actual line, the edge of his face. He has a gorgeous mouth, but sometimes it's a bit of a pain in my butt. Still love you, though. Still love you. That collarbone. He has really nice collarbones. Yeah, it's like the mouth area, and the nose actually might have needed to be put down too. Quite honestly, I'm really excited for these sorts of videos, because I just realized that I'd be able to go back and analyze what I could have done better, and maybe that'll help me keep that in mind for the next stuff. Like, I'm kind of really excited for tomorrow's practice piece. I probably should record these every time. I don't know if I'm going to publicly post them every time, though. I'm kind of on the bridge with that. If the video editing and stuff like that doesn't take too awful long, like with voiceover or audio or whatever, I might consider doing them maybe a couple times a week recorded and released publicly. But I don't know. It's an idea I'm kicking around. Oh, this one I was just like, is the nose too wide? I can't tell. I'm tired. Dude, it's been a day. It's been a god dang diddly day. All I wanted to do when I got up was to draw things, and I was not allowed to draw things for an extended period of time today. And I just, and I finally got to it, and then I'm like, no, it's not working. Why aren't you working? Yep, here's another attempt at fixing that awkward line of his face. I think I have, in that back sketch, the chin is a little too low, though. A little bit too low. I feel like I made this too wide. Yeah. See right there? The mistake I did is I made it too curved instead of putting in those nice angles you see from his cheekbone down to about midway between his nose and the top of his upper lip. That should have been a little bit more angular, and I think I do correct that as the video goes on. Me quickly trying to think. Like, This was definitely not my most dexterous 20-minute piece. But you know what? Any practice is good practice. Is good for you. It's good for your artist health. Because unfortunately, not every day is a good art day. As much as we wish we could, like, have that sort of consistency. But unfortunately, as people, kind of doesn't work. That's alright, though. There's that weird shadow there. See, shading his mouth was just really weird for me for some reason. I don't know why it bothered me. Like I said, it might be just even the contrast of the reference photo. Sorry, I'm drinking pop. That was loud. It's still too wide. Fix it! Fix it! Girl! Fix it! God, I'm gonna start backseat gaming my art videos. Wait, is she doing it? Hey! Good job! Oh my god. I get a kick out of this. This is actually super fun. I don't know if it's gonna be fun for anybody else, but honestly, this is fun. Oh, what you doing? Oh, you're checking. Another thing you should do to check your proportions, and if you have weird leaning problems, is to Clip Studio Paint has a really, really nifty little function that is up near the navigator in the upper right, where you can flip your canvas back and forth and see where you're doing. Usually in these portraits, since there's such a strict time limit, I don't bother. But I do notice that, because I don't check it as I go, there's some problems. Like, it's really apparent in some of them, but not all of them, that I've posted on Twitter. I remember thinking here that, what am I gonna do with this hair? There's very little tells in the photo for just how far out the hair should extend. So that took a bit of guesswork. I just tried to make it look okay. I knew it wasn't going to be anything fantastic. Usually in these 20-minute photos, the hair tends to get, despite the way it looks, the hair tends to get a little bit of the least attention, besides the clothing. The clothing gets the least, hands down. I usually kind of focus on the face, because that is the focal point that I want to draw attention to. But I do notice that attention to detail in the hair, like, sometimes I can get it, sometimes I can't. The problem with using this particular photo is, if you look at it, there is, like, you can't even really see much of the highlights in the original photo. So my eye, which is used to being like, okay, so this is about this far from this, and usually I have a bunch of little tells in the reference photo to help guide me about how far something should be. This hair did not really have that, so I kind of had to flub around with it a little bit. Which, it turned out pretty good, but could I have done better? Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking doing that. Like, that literally wasted a little bit of time. I think I was trying to get, like, the feel of the strands on the edge, on the left edge there, but really I should have just somewhat erased, like, maybe a half inch off of that side of his hair and just drew the squiggles in myself. It would have looked better. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, F that hand. We don't need hands in these. There's a reason they're bus shots. 20 minutes, I don't have time to mess with no hands. I do need to practice hands, though. Legit. Hands are so goddamn difficult. Oh, is this where I broke out the blend tool? Yep. Okay, so one of the things that I super love about Clip Studio Paint is this stupid blending tool is super good. I love it to pieces, and I would die without it. Like, I love that blending tool. I don't think it came originally with Clip Studio. I've had this program for... oh gosh. When did I get this program? I got this program not long before Clip Studio Paint had their first international art contest. The very first one. And I placed in the top 10, and I won a key for the EX version, and I've been using it pretty faithfully ever since. I stopped using Psy because it just, I don't know. It's not a bad program. Not really for me, though. I think I've tried Photoshop a little bit, too, but I just, It just didn't do it for me. Definitely a fantastic program. Don't get me wrong, but just didn't do it for me. I do love this blending tool, and I love my sketch pencil, which eventually will be available in a digital brush pack that I'm going to release at some point. Probably on Gumroad or some similar site. I haven't quite figured out what I want to do with all that yet. But I do have some custom brushes that I use pretty regularly. And then some I just made for the funsies. But look at that blend tool. The blend tool, I believe is a current default tool in Clip Studio Paint. I think I tweaked the settings of it. Like, I've tweaked the settings for a lot of stuff in this program on top of making my own brushes. But I think this one, the setting that I tweaked that I can remember off the top of my head was, I think I just tweaked the density. So I think I put it down to... I put it pretty low. Let me see here. What did I put that to? 43. Which is good. Like, at 43 you can tell it's blending, but it also leaves a little bit of the hard strokes here and there. I just think it makes a cooler effect. And also sometimes I get a little extreme with blending, and I don't like to have everything, like, blended together. I do like this pencil though. Look at that. Little bit of texture. Density's a little low. It's just nice. And if you're softer on it, on like your pen stylus, it does softer strokes. And that's really nice. Oh, highlights. About 5 minutes in, or 5 minutes left on the clock, is around where I try to do highlights. I definitely was late on that this time, so I didn't even get to blend all the highlights I wanted to blend. But what can you do? Oh my god, it looks like he has a milk mustache. That's funny. Try to get that Adam's apple in. Me probably looking at the clock going, oh fuck. Go faster. Alright, blending some of that out so it doesn't quite look so silly. I still didn't get to blend that or put as much highlight in it as I wanted. This one didn't go as smoothly as... For some dumb reason, the Rada practice pieces always turn out really, really good. I don't know what it is about that man, but they turn out really, really good. And I don't understand why. Oh, did I notice the time? Oh no, I was trying to put some sort of hair highlights. I don't know why I tried to do that. It just... I don't know. I felt like that was a dumb decision on my part. I could have used those few seconds for something else. Me looking at it going, what should I do? Okay, yeah, that turned out alright. It turned out alright. It didn't turn out my best, but it turned out okay. I hope that this was educational, informative, entertaining. I don't know. Like I said, just a little experiment. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye!